Okay, pet parents, are you ready to see me destroy my body for science and chug an entire bottle of wine to teach you about grape and raisin toxicity in dogs and cats? It still surprises me that so many people in this day and age don't understand that grapes and raisins can actually be toxic to dogs and cats. But I mean, I guess it really shouldn't surprise me considering it took us so long to figure out that they were toxic in the first place. Hello and welcome to another exciting sporting event as this man tries to drink his second entire bottle of wine in one go. You can hear the crowd behind me. They are just ecstatic as things get underway. Oh my goodness, look at this form on this man. Incredible. And after decades of research, science bros, sup bro, have finally figured out the toxic component in grapes and raisins that make them so toxic to dogs and cats. And get this, are you ready for this? Are you sitting down? Do you really want to know what this substance is? I'm gonna give you one guess. You're never gonna guess what this substance is. I bet you it's tartaric acid. Come on, science bro, are you kidding me? You gotta ruin all my fun like that? Sorry, bro, you were taking too long. It's called building suspense, science, bro, and it's nothing you would know about, nerd. God. And it was a bold move going with the barefoot. I would have gone with a nice Map-a-Ziffin nail myself. That's right, it's tartaric acid, just like the science nerd said. But what we don't know is how tartaric acid actually leads to the damage. You don't know that, do you, science nerd? Oh, hold on now, I don't know everything, so hold on now, smart ass. Whoa, come on, science bro, easy with the language, you're better than that. I'm really not better than that. But even though we don't know the mechanism as to how tartaric acid leads to the damage it does, we know it damages the kidneys and can lead to an acute kidney injury. And this damage can happen anywhere from 12 hours after ingestion to 72 hours after ingestion. Oh my God, that powerful form is just unparalleled in today's game. A strange thing about grapes and raisins that we don't understand yet is that some dogs or cats are not affected by them, meaning some dogs and cats can eat a whole bunch of grapes and raisins and literally nothing happens. Now the downside is the only way to know if a dog or cat is affected by grapes and raisins or not is to have them eat a whole bunch of grapes and raisins and to see if something happens or not, which in my opinion is a little bit of a risky thing considering if they are affected, it can push them into kidney failure. Oh my God, and this is it, folks. On the edge of your seat, can he do it? Do you believe in mediocrity? Yes! Yes! He did it! When it comes to a toxic dose of grapes and raisins, this is where things get just a wee bit dicey because we don't have a toxic dose range that's set in stone. So I always warn pet owners that if you see a toxic dose of grapes and raisins on the internet, always take it with a little bit of a grain of salt. But that being said, one of the more consistent dose ranges that we're going with in veterinary medicine is that for every 10 pounds of body weight, it would take roughly 3 ounces of grapes to be toxic or half an ounce of raisins to be toxic. And even though I have given you a very well-published toxic dose of grapes and raisins, I still warn you not to take that as the holy gospel and to use it more as a general guideline, again, because the levels of tartaric acid vary wildly from grape to grape and from raisin to raisin. And even when you're talking about grapes of the same species, like green grapes, the levels of tartaric acid can vary depending on when the grape was harvested off the vine. So there's so many variables in tartaric acid concentration. Clinical signs of grape and raisin toxicity in dogs and cats will look a lot like the clinical signs of kidney damage. And what I tend to find is that the clinical signs usually don't show up first. Typically what I see is the kidney values will start to change on a blood panel first, and then the clinical signs will come later. So you can't always count on the clinical signs to let you know that your dog or cat got into grapes or raisins. People then become really concerned about grape seed oil, wondering if that's toxic to dogs and cats as well. And technically right now, we don't suspect grape seed oil is toxic to dogs and cats because as the name implies, it's oil made from the seeds of grapes. And since we see toxicity in both seeded grapes and seedless grapes, our assumption is that the toxin is not actually in the seed itself. That being said, I still wouldn't let your pet guzzle down a whole gallon of grape seed oil. If your dog or cat does get into grapes or raisins, you can either bring him into your family vet or you can contact ASPCA Pet Poison Hotline or a veterinarian to see how concerned you should be and some guidance on what you should do next.